Hey, what's up everybody? I'm bringing you another video today, and this one is going to be going over first-time motorcycle buyers, but much like a few of my other videos, a lot of what I'm saying in this video can be applied to basically any motorcycle you buy. So I just got the MT fueled up. I've got my little sticky note with all of my talking points on it. Hopefully I make a little bit of sense here and can, help somebody make a decision if they're considering buying a motorcycle. If you enjoy this video, likes are greatly appreciated. They are not required. If you are new to the channel, it hasn't been around that long. I don't make very many videos, but I enjoy it. I have a lot of fun doing it. I love interacting with the comments and hearing everybody's thoughts. So be sure to leave a comment, subscribe if you feel like it, and let's get right into it. So whenever you're buying a new motorcycle, there are several factors to consider, and they can be boiled down to really three main talking points that I have laid out: purpose, plan, and preference. I'm going to start at the top with purpose, and I want to talk a little bit about the difference in displacement terms whenever you're talking about different types of bikes. So what I mean by the purpose is, what are you going to be using the bike for? Is it an adventure bike? Is it a cruiser? Is it a sport bike, a touring bike, a dual sport? There's so many different bikes out there. It can be difficult to land on one that you really like, but what it really ends up being at the end of the day is the bike that suits your needs the best. So if you're doing any trailing, you probably don't want to buy a bike like a Harley Davidson or an Indian. There are certain bikes from those companies that can do light off-roading, but most of them in the lineup are not made for it. You would want something like a DRZ 400 or an Africa Twin. If you're strictly dirt and you're going to be racing the bike, you probably want like a CRF 450 or a KX 450. So consider all of that stuff. Also consider the displacement on the bike you're getting. Are you going to outgrow it? Are you used to riding? If this is your first bike, obviously you probably don't want the biggest displacement machine you can get, but you do need to consider growing out of a bike as opposed to growing with a bike that has power to get used to, but not necessarily one that's going to be too powerful and scare you, because that can, turn a lot of people away from riding motorcycles. So just for a quick reference, a little math lesson here: 1 cc is equal to 0.061 cubic inches. So the Indian Scout 60, it is a cruiser motorcycle, but it is 1,000 cc's. Talk to cruiser guys and tell them that you ride a 61 cubic inch cruiser. They will probably tell you that's kind of a small cruiser, and that's because it is. 60 cubic inches is not that big on a cruiser. However, if you had a 1,000 cc on a sport bike, it is a lot, and it's not necessarily always good to just hop on a 1,000 cc sport bike as your first bike. But you can do that with a cruiser because of the way that they deliver power and the way they're geared. It makes it a little bit more forgiving. But with that, cruisers are typically heavier too, so they can sometimes be a little bit more to handle if you don't know what you're getting yourself into. The next talking point I want to get into is plan. What is your plan with this bike? How long are you going to keep it? How long is it going to be in your life? What do you want to accomplish with it? If this is your first bike you're ever buying, and your plan with it is to get it and immediately do a million things to it, and it's something like a Ninja 400 or an R3 or a CBR 250, something along those small displacement lines, you probably should just hold off on modding it. And I know, it is super hard not to accessorize your bike and make it your own and make it personal and show all your buddies and be like, look at my bike. However, odds are you're going to outgrow something that's small. If you're going to ride it forever, good. I'm happy for you. Go nuts. But odds are you are probably going to outgrow it and move up to something bigger, and then all that money that you just spent on those mods now is kind of pointless. Also, another thing to consider: are you going to be servicing this bike on your own? Owning a motorcycle sometimes isn't cheap if you don't know what you're doing and what to look for in terms of service. If one spot in the maintenance schedule is overlooked on your bike, it can cause catastrophic failure on other components in your bike. So just consider that too whenever you're buying a bike. A bike with low maintenance is a little bit better for first-time buyers just because they can work on it themselves, get familiar with their machine, and understand all the little intricacies that go into maintaining a bike. That way, whenever you graduate to something larger, you've already got kind of a head start and a better understanding of what needs to be done on the machines that require more care. The second to last note I want to touch on is preference. Me, personally, I like Yamaha motorcycles. I always have. I've always been a fanboy. So I buy Yamaha, I ride Yamaha. Would I ride other brands? Yeah, I own a Honda before in my life. I own a couple Hondas. I like Kawasaki and Suzuki as well, although Suzuki makes me very sad because they haven't done anything impressive since the 1990s whenever they released the Hayabusa, and since then it's just been a super stale company. But if you're brand loyal, you have to be careful with getting a bike that's just okay versus maybe another branded motorcycle that does things much better. Maybe it's a better price point for the features you get. Maybe there's an advantage the other bike has in terms of seat height, gearing, highway use, stuff like that. So don't let your preferences get in the way. But also, if there's a bike that you like a lot more because of its brand and you're willing to sacrifice some stuff for that, absolutely. You know, stick with your preference. Stick with what you like, what you know, and what you're used to. The last thing I'm going to touch on is going to be if you are a first-time buyer and you're deciding between new or used bikes. I did a video on this recently, actually. I went pretty in-depth over, I think it was less than 10 minutes. I don't know. A lot of you guys have watched that, so thank you for watching that. It means a lot. If you haven't watched it yet, go check it out. If you're buying a new bike, some things to consider. You're going to be the only person to ever ride this bike. You know it hasn't been abused, and most of them come with a 6-month warranty at the minimum. A lot of them come with a 1 or 2 year unlimited mile warranty, so you can ride it to your heart's desire and know that you have the manufacturer behind it backing up their product. The other advantage to buying new is that you'll get to bond with a dealership and build a relationship with the service department there, the sales department, and you know, it's not always about what you know, it's about who you know. And if you know a dealer and they're fair, they're always willing to work with you and help you out. It doesn't hurt to have that partnership. If you buy a used motorcycle, a lot of the time you can get some pretty decent accessories on it. Accessories that you might have done otherwise, like maybe a set of bars, or maybe a pipe, maybe an ECU flash, a fuel controller, a fender eliminator. All these nice things that otherwise you would have had to spend. As long as the bike has been maintained and well kept up with, I always buy mine used because they come with a lot of cool stuff on them that I'm going to do myself anyway. So why not skip that hassle and just get it the way that I want it with a little bit of use to it, knowing that it's been taken care of and maintained. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this video up. I want to thank you guys for watching. I want to say thanks for getting me to 60 subscribers. It means a lot. I know it's not a ton, but for me, it's a milestone, and I really appreciate all the support that you guys give me for the channel, no matter how little. So with that, I want to say thanks, ride safe, and have a great week.